Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. After Luo Feng learned about the three inherited kinds of techniques and the fact that he was able to return, he was in an extremely good mood, deity of the world and absolute space. Luo Feng immediately thought of the effects and requirements for two techniques he read about. Absolute space is an extremely messed up technique, the kind of technique that people around the universe would go crazy for. The only thing about it is that only golden horned beasts can directly practice them. Luo Feng understood this principle too. Just like a race car on the highway. Maybe it can accelerate to 300 km/h, but how fast can it accelerate in 0.1 seconds? It takes time to reach its maximum speed. Humans accelerate faster than race cars. But in terms of bursts of speed, it doesn't even come close to their maximum flying speed. Teleportation man, teleportation. Luo Feng, teleportation. Barbata was extremely excited, even your teacher, who was an undying fighter, wasn't able to teleport. So, Luo Feng said helplessly, this absolute space is hard to learn. Even someone as powerful as the master of Yunmo planet couldn't teleport. It isn't hard to imagine how hard it would be to teleport. And even the technique's description says it. For the first level, if you work hard and long enough, you might have hope in learning it. For the second level, even though golden horned beasts live 10 times longer than human sector lords, most of the golden horned beasts that try to learn the second stage of absolute space end up stuck on a certain step. Very few manage to complete most of the second stage, ever changing. As for the third level, teleportation. That's basically a legend. Extraordinarily difficult. Hard work, comprehension, luck, etc. are all required, Luo Feng. You don't understand how valuable it is, said Barbata in a hurry. What kind of technique is this? Just a simple burst of speed. No. This is a technique that lets you comprehend the essence of the laws of space itself. Your teacher didn't have such a technique, and had to work bitterly by himself. If he had this technique, he might have attained the incredible technique of teleportation. The technique was split into 3 stages. The first stage is called Arc of Light, the second stage is called Ever-Changing, the third stage is called Teleportation. The main requirement to learn this technique is a crazy level of comprehension and practice. You need to practice it a lot to get used to it. And only after you practice it enough can you have a chance to comprehend it. This technique is mainly about bursts of speed. Only golden horned beasts can learn them. The 3,199 regular techniques were created by the generations of golden horned beasts, or inspired by the techniques of humans, automatons, and the other vast number of species. Only golden horned beasts can learn these techniques, but the techniques themselves came from other races. Other races also have similar techniques. Even though they might differ in some ways, the difference isn't too great. However, these 18 special techniques are purely for golden horned beasts. Even if you spread them around, other races won't be able to change or learn them. Deity of the world is also split into 3 stages. The first stage counts as beginner. The second stage counts as advanced, and the third stage is ultimate. Basically, Deity of the World is a special technique that allows the golden horned beast to change its body size. Being able to shrink and enlarge is an extremely scary ability. For example, if a golden horned beast is 180 meters long, its weight won't change even after it shrinks. This means its density increases greatly. The density of its bones increase. The density of its muscles increase. Its claws, horn, etc. become much sharper and tougher. A punch with 100 kilograms of force, compared to a piercing needle with 100 kilograms of force. The difference of power between them is like the sky and the earth. In the first stage of Deity of the World, your body can enlarge or shrink by a factor of 3. Your strength can reach at most 3 times more than what it was before. In the second stage, it becomes factor of 9. And your strength can also multiply by a factor of 9. In the third stage, you can already become as big or as small as you want. However, your strength can at most go up by a factor of 36. Shrinking by a factor of 36 times, 100 times, 1000 times, will all be the same. Because multiplying your strength by a factor of 36 via body size is already a limit. When you shrink even more, the power of your body starts to lower too, so your battle ability won't go up. Of course, even though we say you can become as big or as small as you want, you can't become infinitely big or infinitely small. The legendary limit is 10,000 times. Which is to say, a 10 kilometers long golden horned beast can shrink to 1 meter. And it can enlarge to a length of 10,000 kilometer. Of course. The third stage of deity of the world is way harder than the third stage of absolute space. According to the records in the inherited memory, only the golden horned beast that created this technique was able to reach the third stage. As for the others, after countless years and generations of golden horned beasts, none of them were able to reach the third stage. Most of the golden horned beasts in the past stayed at the first stage. It was rare for golden horned beasts to even reach the second stage. Because this technique was just seriously messed up. For example, powerful Sector Lord level 9 stage fighters have reached the limits of their battle capabilities, and don't differ from each other by much. Only an extreme few are able to stand out. However, deity of the world allows the golden horned beast to multiply its strength even more from what it originally has. How can people not be jealous of that? Since golden horned beasts are already born with a talent, enhance. However, Luo Feng was clear. Having such good techniques is dangerous too. So the number of golden horned beasts is extremely small, even less than the amount of undying level fighters. In the universe, there are a total of 12 blood lineages out of the space beasts comparable to the golden horned beasts. And out of the countless number of races, some special life forms have special techniques that can rival the techniques of the golden horned beast. The large number of humans also have plenty of techniques. Even Luo Feng's teacher, master of Yunmo planet, has the super powerful technique Soul Seal, which can transform fighters into servants. You're talented. Okay, I'll implant the Soul Seal into your soul when you're weak and transform you into an extremely loyal servant. No matter how talented you are, you're only going to be my servant and bodyguard. So, Luo Feng was clear, you cannot underestimate any powerful fighter. As for the golden horned beast's 3 talents, the training talent Swallow can absorb large amounts of metal into its inner world, and can even directly swallow life forms weaker than it. However, the inner world will automatically stop absorbing things when threatened. For example, just like when Hong released large amounts of metal and bombs. The battle talent Enhance causes speed and battle ability to soar up. Of course, this comes with a price. The life-saving talent Clone. In the Star Traveler level, you can have 1 clone. In the Universe level, you can have your 2nd clone. In the Sector Lord level, you can have your 3rd clone. In other words, golden horned beasts can only have 3 clones in total. And each of these clones are individual existences that can train themselves. The universe is fair. This extremely rare race that is about to go extinct has been granted a life-saving talent. As for the Ice Mountain Beast in the 12 lineages, their life-saving talent is transformation, where they can change their appearance to anything they want. The golden horned beast in its life could have up to 3 bodies, 1 during the Star Traveler stage, the 2nd one during the Universe stage, and the 3rd one during the Sector Lord stage. As the created bodies can also gradually train, there was no question about it. The first body was definitely the most important. That was why choosing the race and bloodline too was important. As the golden horned beast's first body, they would normally choose very good races and bloodlines. This was because the conditions to create the embryo were very low. Just a strand of hair or a drop of blood would do, as long as it contained a trace of the genes and such materials. They would suffice. Luo Feng, you are sure to make your first body as a human from Earth? Barbata couldn't help but ask. Just a strand of hair can be used to begin the nurturing. Later on, you will definitely be able to find powerful races of humans, like the Manka people etc. Possessing them would be hard, but finding their hair would be very easy. With some surgery, they can be made to look like your old self. It would be very easy to do. I'm sure. My first body will be a human from Earth. Luo Feng said, and I'll be using my own body to begin the nurturing. The nurturing stage was extremely demanding. This was because the body that will eventually be nurtured had to be placed within the golden horned beast's internal world and worked on from scratch. And the entity that goes in would be killed immediately. Unless it had reached the sector lord level, where the internal world was exactly similar to the physical world, only that way could a living entity enter the internal world. Earlier, the golden horned beast could have decided that Earth's humans and creatures weren't worth one of its bodies, hence it hadn't begun nurturing anything. And Luo Feng, he began immediately. Within the golden horned beast's body. With a diameter of over 20 centimeter, filled with countless complex golden engravings around the glowing crystal, this crystal ball was the core, or also known as the space core, world core, spirit core. This core contained the golden horned beast's core existence. Even if its head was blown off, its body destroyed, as long as the core and the spirit was okay, it wouldn't die. Within the core, the internal world. Luo Feng could feel it after his soul had melded 100% with his new body. Within the vast space inside the core, there seemed to be a formless connection joined to another world. The internal world. This was a vast land, one that had an area of 10 square kilometers, and up in the air in that area was a golden fog. Surrounding it too was an endless golden fog. The land itself was golden, there were also hills, mountains that were all made from metal. It was a metal world. Luo Feng controlled this world. Barbata, release my previous body. Luo Feng thread of thought was linked to Barbata outside, and using the swallowing natural ability, he immediately ingested his own body in. Natural ability, nurture, Luo Feng's thoughts moved. The entire metal continent began to vibrate. Luo Feng's old body began to be moved by a formless energy, floating high up in the sky of the metal world. This was a move the golden horned beast could only do 3 times in its life. Only when its internal world had reached the universe level would he be able to do it the second time. Now, Luo Feng had already used his first natural ability, beginning the nurturing stage. Energy vaporized. Floating up high in the sky, Luo Feng's body immediately vaporized. What originally was up high in the sky of the metal continent, the large amount of golden fog was madly rushing towards the center, forming the genetic remains from Luo Feng's vaporized body into a round golden egg. A few high-level bloodlines, powerful races, may even require a few 100 years to 1,000 years to nurture. Why so long? This was because nurturing was akin to giving birth to an infant. For example, a sector Lord Golden Horned Beast, obtaining a sector Lord Human Hair, producing a body, it was producing a sector Lord Level Warrior body. Its genetic makeup was completely duplicated. Its body was completely duplicated. To train and reach the level of a sector lord requires tens of thousands of years. To produce one within a few 100 years was already impressive. The catch for nurturing, however, was it couldn't produce something stronger than itself. The most it could do was one with comparable strength. One day later, looking at the speed, I estimate a couple of years for the nurturing to complete. Luo Feng understood, when that time came, he would have a body with similar strength before, with a genetic makeup of 99.9999% similar to before. Within the ship, a resting room, a handsome middle-aged man was sitting in a chair with his eyes closed. His watch communicator's light was glowing. Obviously, this captain's consciousness had entered the universe's virtual network. This space was an extremely important existence. The universe was incomparably vast. However, using the universe virtual network, even if the distance was tens of millions away, one could meet and discuss within the network. It was 100% virtual. Ding. The communicator's light dimmed out. The handsome middle-aged man opened his eyes. Even though we've spent quite a bit of money, we have managed to buy a star map of the Milky Way from a few 100 years ago, this void district. The handsome man was very excited. Within a 1,000 light-year area, this is only a millionth of the Silver Blue Empire's territory. Luckily, this area has 2 planets with life. 2 planets with life. We've really struck it this time. The closest planet is, going by the ship's inferior light speed, requires 2 years and 8 months to get there. The other planet with life, however, requires 136 years. The handsome man was somewhat unsatisfied, even though his life had reached over 10,000 years, wasting up to 100 years was too much. However, to earn 2 planets with life, this was hitting a goldmine. 2 years 8 months. Let's hope there's some worthy goods there. Selling to the slave merchants, too, can get us big money. If there's nothing good, then we can just sell the entire planet. The handsome man was thinking, his eyes lit with excitement. A planet with life, that was extremely valuable. Time passed. The internal world was nurturing the body. Luo Feng had begun his studies on the and also using his claws and swallowing large amounts of metal. Actually, the swallowing relied on the core to activate. That was why, whether it was using the claws, mouth, or tail, they all could activate the swallowing ability. It was just the golden horned beast preferred to use its mouth. And Luo Feng, he felt using his claws was enough. That scout ship, flying in the universe, was quickly heading towards Earth's star field. On Earth. Year 2060, September 12 th. Attention all. Our Jiangnan's number 1 hospital is currently housing one of our proud 8 heroes from Yangzhou, Luo Feng's wife Shushin. From what we know, the ward she's staying is the most luxurious ward in the hospital. Just the fees alone from the ward requires $2 million dollars. Every month's fee goes up to as high as $12 million. If you add the costs of the doctors, staff and others etc., I estimate the cost of the ward Shushin is staying at every month to be worth more than tens of millions. According to the news, Jiangnan's number 1 hospital's head said, Luo Feng's wife Shushin's cost for staying at this hospital has been discounted to the lowest, a full 30% discount. Dear viewers, our reporter has already reached Jiangnan's number 1 hospital. According to news, Shushin's delivery might occur within the next few days. And according to our sources, who managed to talk to the doctors in charge of the case, acquiring secret information, Shushin has twins in her belly. The previous news of the triplets were only rumors. Year 2060, September 15th, morning 8:15 a.m. Shushin was wheeled into the delivery room. The number of news reporters and paparazzi outside Jiangnan's number 1 hospital was shocking, to a point that even reporters from other countries were there too. One must know, out of the 8 heroes before, only Luo Feng's wife Shushin was pregnant, and with Luo Feng's sacrifice, now that the children were being born, it garnered the attention of the entire world. Countless citizens from all over the world, even normal old men and women were all guessing, Luo Feng was already a prodigy and genius of such a level. What about his children? What would they be like in the future? Even though they had yet to be born, Luo Feng's children had already become a focal point. The golden horned beast, which had reached a body length of 230 m, became a beam of light leaving a golden trail, swiftly flashing about in the deep sea. He was practicing the Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Barbata shouted anxiously, "What's the matter?" Luo Feng stopped. His enormous dark golden pupils filled with curiosity. Happy occasion, big happy occasion. Shushin has just given birth to 2 children, both children and mother are safe. Your big son weighs 3.7 kilograms, your second son weighs 3.03 kilograms. Barbata said excitedly. After becoming the swallowing beast, his power rose very quickly. However, after getting completely used to his new body, Luo Feng's soul was unable to fully avoid the swallowing beast's natural brutality, savagery, and ice-cold demeanor. Having spent a good half-year of loneliness, the natural brutality in his bloodline had seeped in. This made Luo Feng much more cold and savage than before. But after hearing this news, Luo Feng felt warm blood rushing through his entire body again. I have children now. I have children now. That sense of excitement nourished his soul. Soon, just another 8 more months. My body's nurturing will be complete. When that time comes, I'll be able to return and see them. Far away, at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, Luo Feng, who had taken over the body of the golden horned beast, was extremely emotional. At that time, the entire world's media were all reporting on the newborn children. 1. Luo Feng's family now had descendants, wealth comparable to that of countries. 2. The 2 children's genetic makeup were definitely very good, their futures were limitless. 3. With the 8 heroes' sacrifice, the birth of 2 new children made the whole atmosphere more special. Year November 22nd 2060, morning, Ping Ping and Little Hai, be good. Shushin, who was donned in a white cotton dress, gently kissed the 2 babies in her bosom. The 2 babies' eyes shined brightly as they looked at their mother, laughing, their tiny hands waving randomly. Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan laughed as they received the 2 babies. Shushin will take Ping Ping and Little Hai for a little walk in the district. Gong Xinlan laughed, all right mother. Shushin nodded. Watching as the grandparents of her children took them away, Shushin lightly closed the door of the room, walking towards the ward's balcony. On the balcony lay a desk that held a notebook computer. Shushin sat in the chair, the warm winter sunshine shining on her body. It was very comforting. Shushin was smiling, moving the chair closer to the desk. She took out a pen from the drawer. Since I was young till now, with my family's teachings, I've always held myself to the highest of expectations. Also, in the end, I've also enjoyed opening my own business with some workers and conquering the business world. However, constantly working for my own company too is tiring. Luckily, I had Luo Feng. Beside Luo Feng, I didn't feel any stress. He helped shelter me from the elements, allowing me to give my all into the business. I really enjoyed those days. I also wished we could have continued living those days forever, only, I never thought. I don't blame anybody. However, honestly, in this world, I don't have any reason to live. What's the reason for us living? Love? Family? Career? I don't know. Without Luo Feng here, love has forever left me. Career. The business's troubles. I have no one to complain to. Even with success, there's no one to enjoy it with. Without him by my side, even if the business is a success, it's all for naught. There's no more color. Whenever I dream at night, I often cry. Finally, I've made my decision. I feel very relaxed, so relaxed, my spirit feels a sense of calm I've never felt before. Dad, Mom, brother, grandmother and father, don't be hurt, because right now I'm very happy. As she finished writing, she put down the pen. Shushin looked up through the window into the little district. Luo Hongguo and his wife were hugging the babies were laughing happily. Little Hai, Ping Ping. Shushin said softly, you are only 2 months old, you don't know much about anything. I believe when you grow older, you probably won't remember much from this time. Shushin opened the notebook computer and picked a tune. It was an old song from before the great Nirvana. The seconds and minutes tick by on one's heart. My eyes glimmer and shine emptily. My heart jumps and beats with the motion. I ask myself, just how much and how deep you love me. I'll marry you tomorrow. I'll marry you tomorrow. The music resounded in the room. Shushin gently crooned with the music, walking to a side dresser and retrieving a wedding dress. Putting on makeup. Wearing the wedding gown. Shushin gently sang along to the song, her smile sweet and pure. From young, she had grown up in a big family with constant competition and pressure, until she met Luo Feng, where she was finally relieved from the competitive pressure. Luo Feng was just like a mountain, a large tree, sheltering her from the elements. Shushin didn't like her home from before. It was filled with materialistic desires, power, wealth and competition. She enjoyed living with Luo Feng, doing her own business, and enjoying it with the ones she loved. Sharing pain and suffering with the ones she loved. Sharing happiness with the ones she loved. Those were the good days, and now, with Luo Feng gone, she felt the world had gone black and white, without any other colors. What's the point of carrying on? What's the point of working hard? Victory without anyone to celebrate with, pain and suffering with no one to complain with. Dressed up as a new bride, wearing the wedding gown, Shushin smiled, quietly sitting on the bed, disturbing all of my dreams. I'll marry you tomorrow. I'll marry you tomorrow. The sweet music seeped into one's spirit. Shushin took out a porcelain bottle from the side, pouring out a couple of pills from within, smiling as she gently ate them, drinking some water to swallow them. Closing her eyes. Shushin, dressed in the wedding gown, quietly lay down, his fingers gently massaging the nameless ring on her finger. Steel ring. I'll marry you tomorrow. I'll marry you tomorrow. The music continued resounding in the room. The silver safety amulet slowly began to crack open. For a brief moment, the white light became extra thick, without a sound or trace. It completely vaporized into nothing. The thick white light seeped into Shushin's body. Her skin suddenly became sparkling and translucent, more shiny and glossy than before, beautiful and alluring. It was an extremely beautiful, earth-shaking beauty. All of the cascading white light slowly got absorbed by Shushin. The appearance of her body seemed to have a layer of light surrounding it. This scene lasted 26 minutes. The glowing light was all absorbed into her body and everything returned to normal. The entire room was extremely silent. Shushin remained quietly lying down in the bed, as though nothing had happened before. Suddenly her eyebrows moved. She opened her eyes. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, a large amount of metal remains were placed under the sea. A 280 m long golden horned beast was just beside this heap of metal. Its large dark golden pupils were filled with ice-cold savagery. It extended its claw. A formless space rippled around the surroundings. Immediately, the large heap of metal remains vanished into nothing. Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Barbata's clear crisp voice sounded. He seemed extremely anxious. What's the matter? Luo Feng asked. It's Shushin. Shushin committed suicide. Barbata shouted. What? Luo Feng felt his mind go blank, blood rushing to his head. Deep underwater, the golden horned beast's golden pupils were suddenly dazzling. Rage and anxiety were mixed in them. This is not something to joke about. I'm not joking, it's real. Barbata said. You bastard, didn't you say Shushin would never do something like that? I initially said we could use the internet, making you imitate my voice and speaking with her, putting her heart at ease. What did you say? You said Shushin wouldn't believe, and would only think I left an AI to do so after I died. Without seeing me in person, she wouldn't believe. Alright, I admit what you said had logic. However, you promised me, Shushin would never do something like that. Now, Luo Feng's mind felt like it was about to explode as he spoke. Don't worry. Barbata, after seeing Luo Feng's rage, knew the joke had gone too far. I haven't finished. She isn't dead, not dead at all. Luo Feng was startled. What's going on? Luo Feng was getting angrier. It's like this. Shushin indeed committed suicide, destroying her body completely. Her soul was also almost vaporized. However, the couple amulet I gave you before actually saved her. I don't know what she actually did, whether it's bad luck or fortune. This lover's amulet's real name is Eternal Love. Barbata said. Eternal Love. Luo Feng had acquired quite a bit of inherited memories, but he didn't know what this eternal love was. You don't know what eternal love is, but you at least know about the eternal body, right? Barbata said. Yes. Luo Feng said. Man's life, a star traveler's lifespan, was a little more than 1,000 years. A star level span is 1 era, a universe level would be 10 eras, a domain lord would be 100 eras, and a sector lord would be 1,000 eras. Only an undying being would never ever die. From the student level 9 to the star traveler level, there's a jump in the lifespan. From the star traveler level to the star level, there's also another jump. Every critical point, there would be a jump in the lifespan. And within the same categories, for example a star traveler level 1 to a star traveler level 9, the power difference is in the hundreds of times, but their life levels and spans are the same. During the life level jumps one's entire body will go through a total reform. This was an evolution of the body. Man's soul can live very very long, normally, they can live for 1,000 eras. On the other hand, their bodies have limits, even with treatment and all, they will all still die of old age at a certain point. A star traveler body can maintain itself for about 1,000 years or more. A star level can go up to 1 era, only until the sector lord level. They have their own internal world, with that they can absorb outside energy sources, constantly re-energizing their physical body, never aging. When that occurs, then it's all up to the soul. The soul's limit is 1,000 eras. That's why a sector lord's lifespan is 1,000 eras. Only after surpassing the sector lord, reaching the level jump for the soul, will one be eternal. Star traveler, star, universe, domain lord, sector lord, each life level jump is the critical point. As for the domain lord to undying, the jump is for the soul. Wei Nuo, let's go. Seigo Neru turned and left. Representative Wei Nuo followed behind. Luo Hua watched as they left, not daring to make a move. The disc-shaped battleship flew at least 300 meters away. Even on the battleship, Seigo Neru's spirit attack could easily instantly kill all of the Luo family, bastard. Standing at the window, watching as the battleship left, Luo Hua's expression was ugly. Luckily, he had split the 60 Mu Ya crystals into several portions, storing them in different locations. These 18 crystals were already very shocking to the two representatives. After all, Hong and Thunder God had only acquired a total of about 10 crystals. What happened earlier? What's wrong with me? Bodyguards, nannies, Luo Honghua and others awoke. Luo Hua was helping them and the others, not telling what exactly happened. There was no way. Luo Hua could only admit, against fighters, the metal robots could still quickly resist. However, against a spirit reader and their spiritual attacks, the metal robots had no way to defend. When the incident occurred, all of the conversation etc. were all heard by the metal robots and transmitted to Barbata. Naturally Luo Feng too knew of it. Wei Nuo. Sego Neru. The golden horned monster, which was over 300 meter long, deep in the ferocious ocean, its dark golden pupils were raging. Barbata, you said that they are now working with the fifth chairman Atki, that cowardly turtle, keeping a low profile. Even during the swallowing monster incident, he didn't even show his face. Now he's showing his ambition. I've always despised him, now, Atki. Sego Neru. Luo Feng was extremely angry. Being unable to visit his loved ones before, he was already very regretful. To think that Atki and a few others, because of their greed actually dared play with their lives. No matter his rage, Luo Feng had to endure. Even though the days of holding in his rage seemed like years. Finally the first nurturing had succeeded, year 2061, June 2nd. That was the day Luo Feng would break out from his shell. Metal characteristic fog from his internal world, 1, 2 and finally 3 mini-planets formed around his Dan Tian. Star Traveler Level 3. Now, Luo Feng's body could only take so much. Any more required him to first strengthen his body, raising his Dan Tian's ability to hold the energy. The same time, within the core, Luo Feng's soul, which had reached the level 3 Star Traveler level, was madly absorbing the universe's energy. The moment it was received into the core, it was immediately sent to be refined. However, it was only simple refining, reaching to the Star Traveler level 5 and quickly leaving the core, flowing through his head and consciousness. The ferocious wave of spirit energy continued to gather. Change had begun to happen, forming another spirit planet. After spending a good half an hour, it finally stopped. Within his consciousness, a blood-red planet, with 5 other planets orbiting around it, constantly rotating. Star Traveler 6, Luo Feng, your body is at the Star Traveler level 4, however, your special ability before was the golden body, that's why, your body's sturdiness is comparable to a Star Traveler level 4 fighter. It's able to bear the power of a Star Traveler level 6 spirit reader, that's his limit. Barbata said, understood. Luo Feng smiled as he opened his eyes. Beside him a liquid silver guard flew out. From that guard he received his storage ring. His spirit energy created a protective barrier in the sea. From within he retrieved a set of clothes to wear, cloud contact. Luo Feng looked far away. Thousands of meters away in the sea, a blood-red cloud contact vine, even though it had shrunk smaller, it immediately flew towards Luo Feng. After recognizing its owner, the cloud contact vine would follow him for life. The moment Luo Feng's soul was destroyed, it too would die. The cloud contact vine shrank and entered into Luo Feng's skin, vanishing. A wave of thoughts and emotions from the cloud contact vine transmitted over. Happy it looks like. I'm the same as before. Luo Feng sighed. However, in essence, my soul's core is the core of the internal world. His body was nurtured from the internal world. So, Luo Feng's current body was similar to the golden horned beast's body. Their weakness was the core carrying the soul and the internal world. Right now, even if Luo Feng's human head was blown off, he wouldn't die. All he needed was to expend energy and it would regrow. Just like the golden horned beast, Luo Feng. I gave you the choice of the other races, and you had to choose a human. The golden horned beast's body and evolution speed will far exceed your Earth human body's evolution speed. Even though the internal world has metal universe characteristics to provide, your body's genetics are too weak, even with a large amount of power. If it cannot withstand it, what happens then? Barbata was obviously still unsatisfied. Luo Feng laughed. He understood the logic. The golden horned beast's growth relied on the internal world. Every time the internal world grew one level, the golden horned beast would immediately absorb large amounts of energy, swiftly growing in a level 2. That way, the golden horned beast would always maintain the same speed with its internal world. However, Luo Feng's body genetics, compared to the golden horned beast, was far too inferior. It could not evolve at the same speed. It's okay. I can't be too greedy. Luo Feng laughed. At least, I'm currently a Star Traveler level 6 spirit reader. In his Earth human body, he was a Star Traveler level 6 spirit reader. The moment he switches to the golden horned beast body, he becomes a Star level 3 golden horned beast. After more than a year, from a Star level 1 to a Star level 3. It was pretty fast. It would become slower as he grew, especially the critical point of breaking into the universe level. That would take more time. It's okay, I can't be too greedy. Luo Feng laughed. At least, I'm currently a Star Traveler level 6 Spirit Reader. In his Earth-human body, he was a Star Traveler level 6 Spirit Reader. The moment he switches to the Golden Horned Beast body, he becomes a Star level 3 Golden Horned Beast. After more than a year, from a Star level 1 to a Star level 3. It was pretty fast. It would become slower as he grew, especially the critical point of breaking into the universe level, that would take more time. Luo Feng stepped on the soaring shuttle, swiftly breaking out of the ocean. High up in the air. Luo Feng was on the soaring shuttle, heading towards Europe, his expression cold. Luo Feng, after the incident with the swallowing beast, Earth's strongest and elite have all fallen, the Palace of War Gods has shut down. The warriors have no leader, no one like Hong, Thunder God or you, who hold a sense of absolute power among the strong. That's why, everything is in a mess currently. And back then the fifth chairman Atki, has thus become the current strongest. Atki, Yang Hai, they were originally representatives from the HR Alliance, but ever since the European strongest, which was the hour's strongest Eastbourne fell, Atki was the biggest, he joined forces with Yang Hai and led a group of representatives. Be it blackmail, threatening or just using force, they quickly took over the HR Alliance. Also, Atki and Yang Hai have gotten Seigo Nehru in. And Seigo Nehru, as India's genius, was naturally accepted into the Thunder Dojo and is currently one of their investigators. According to my research, this is my report. This power, Atki was originally the fifth chairman, Yang Hai initially challenged this but failed, but his power is comparable to Jiu Yi. These two are very strong. Seigo Nehru is currently Earth's only Star Traveler level Spirit Reader, he's also the genius I mentioned before that was beneath you. Luo Feng's expression was cold. Regarding the organization that Atki, Yang Hai and Seigo Nehru are leading, they've become powerful. Under them are some other level 1 and 2 Star Traveler representatives. They are currently the Earth's leading powers. Under them is the Dojo of Limits. The Dojo of Limits has the most loyal 3 guards, who are very united. Then there's the 5 great countries. Finally, the Thunder Dojo. Ever since Thunder God was comatose, with Seigo Nehru joining the dojo. This power was indeed frightening, relying on blackmail, force, murder or stealing of treasures, this power has established its powerful foundation. The countries all do not dare to offend them. Barbata said. Atki was the most powerful fighter. Nehru was the most powerful spirit reader. Also, Yang Hai who was closer to Atki, Mo Henderson, Eastbourne, Tripathi Singh, Jiu Yi, Sokolov, their relatives haven't suffered. Luo Feng definitely did not forget, the 5 heroes who went along with him to battle the Golden Horned Beast, more or less, they haven't been much better off, however, nobody dares to bully the families of the 8 heroes. Only Mo Henderson's family has had it worse, one died. According to media, they said it was a car accident. Barbata said, Luo Feng's expression became even colder. The power struggle was extremely brutal. While it may seem peaceful on the surface, many have died behind the shadows with new people replacing them. The days have gotten better without new dangers, and this new pile of garbage rises. Luo Feng's killing intent rose. From the influence of the Golden Horned Beast's lineage and bloodline, the current Luo Feng was much more savage. Back then we didn't see them in times of crisis, now they've jumped out and taken over. Even the families of the heroes they've dared to threaten, taking away their treasures. They deserve to die. They deserve to die. Luo Feng's gaze was God. Without a tiger in the mountain, the monkeys take over. Atki. Yang Hai. Seigo Nehru. All of you will die. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.